Hey everyone, we're going to be looking at the start of our new project now, the genocide opinion and editorial article. So for this one, our focus is going to be looking at different genocides. We're going to look at the Holocaust, we're going to look at the Armenian genocide, and then we are going to study another genocide. The final product that we're going to be creating for this genocide project is something called an opinion editorial article, and we'll be getting to that in just a little bit. Some of you have started already with the Word journal, which is great. I put something about that in the Google Classroom. There are 3 words in the Google Classroom that you are going to be starting off with for the Word journal. It's going to be the same format as your other Word journals for other classes, where you're going to fill in your word, you're going to put in the academic definition, part of speech, your definition, the way you understand it, a picture that represents this word, and then 2 synonyms, so 2 similar words that have to do with the word for the week. Again, so those words are in the Google Classroom. I will push them up back to the top too. Or put them in the task card as well so you can see what those are. But today, this week, our main focus is going to be on checkpoint 2, where we are looking at the Armenian genocide. And we're going to be focusing on argumentative claim right now, where we are going to be looking at the historical question, which is, was the treatment of Armenian people during World War I a genocide? And you'll put your argumentative claim right here. Make sure you are looking, though, because the directions say the argumentative claim means we need a main claim and 2 subclaims. So it's going to be yes, the Armenian what happened to the Armenian genocide, let's start that over. Either yes, what happened to the Armenian people was a genocide, or no, it was not, and 2 reasons why you think that. Okay? Before we do that, we should probably talk about what a genocide is. And I know many of you have gone over that before. You've started looking at the Holocaust, or you've done the genocide focus area. But just so we're all together, we're going to be looking at some slides on what is genocide. You might want to take some notes on this so that you can have them handy later. Otherwise, you can always come back to this video and check it out. So there's some slides we're going to be looking at here, and we are going to be covering what is genocide. So genocide is a deliberate and systematic destruction of a racial, political, or cultural group. And you've looked at that a little bit already. Some of you have told me about what that is in your Word journal. So it's when we're deliberately, intentionally making a plan to destroy a specific group of people. It could be a religious group, it could be an ethnic group, some way that you can define a large group. So there's several actions that people have come up with that show if something is a genocide or not. Number 1 would just be killing members of that group. So if they're killing them, that's probably a good indicator there's genocide going on. Second thing you could be doing would be causing serious physical or mental harm to members of the group. It could be through torture, sexual violence. It could be forcing people to watch their family members be killed. Anything that is intentionally kind of trying to discourage their existence or make things difficult for them. Another thing is doing things that will cause death. So while killing members of a group would just be like you're shooting them, you're executing them. Things that could be, you could infect people with diseases intentionally. You could use them for experiments. You could deprive them of food, water, and shelter, these basic needs that we need to have in order to survive. So those also count as a genocide. Last 2 actions. If you're preventing a targeted group from having children, so you're trying to wipe out the group just by not letting them reproduce, not have their own kids, that is also genocide. And then finally, this has happened as well, taking children from this group and raising them in another group. So it's kind of like brainwashing them. You're kidnapping kids, maybe from the Armenian group, and giving them to other people in your country and saying, hey, raise these people, raise these kids so that they don't remember their family, don't remember their culture, anything that they grew up in, okay? That is another action that could be part of genocide. There's some other things that could happen as well that might not necessarily be seen as genocide but have to do with it. One of those things could be deportation. So if you're trying to force people to leave a country that you're living in, this doesn't necessarily isn't necessarily an indicator of a genocide because sometimes it's just to remove a people from a group, not to actually kill them all. However, killing a large group of people would be a massacre. Could be separate from a genocide because not every massacre has the intention of killing an entire group of people. Sometimes massacres happen to send a message. Sometimes it happens when we talk about massacres, could be like lots of innocent people being killed. They could happen during wars even. It might be civilians or civilians, children, people who aren't involved in the war, and still might not be a genocide. And then when we talk about something called a perpetrator, familiar with these from crime shows or court cases and stuff, the perpetrator is the person who's committing the illegal crime. So if we're talking about the Holocaust, those perpetrators would be the Nazis, the people who were behind all of the actions. So there's our overview of genocide. What you're going to be doing today now, as we said before with this checkpoint, is you are going to be discussing, was this treatment of these people a genocide or not? So was there a systematic killing of this group of people, or was it just like an act of war or some misunderstandings that were going on? The way you're going to do that is you are going to go to your checkpoint. You're going to open up some of these resources. We already looked at the Why Study Genocide. What you're going to need open is the Armenian Genocide Document Set and then the Armenian Genocide Document Set Graphic Organizer. And those look like this. Here's your graphic organizer. As the directions say, we're going to use this graphic organizer to help understand the information that was in our document set. Then you're going to be using some of this information to answer the checkpoint question. So documents are listed over here on the side. They are available in this document. There are several documents in this set. Some of them are excerpts, some paragraphs. Some of them are photos. Some of them are first-hand accounts, some maps. But as you are reading, you're going to be needing to go through, read one document at a time, summarize the document or find the main idea, and then you're going to have to answer, does this document show genocide? Does it show one of those steps, one of those actions that we talked about in this list? So this is why we should write those down so we can have those referenced. There is also a list in the resources as well. So read through these documents, come up with the main idea or summarize the document, answer the question, does this show genocide? Why or why not? And all these documents are from the Armenian Genocide, so they're all going to be on the same topic. Finally, once that is done, you now have the resources you need to answer the checkpoint question. So you go back to the checkpoint 2, and you are going to answer the question with your main claim and 2 subclaims. So that's yes or no, in a full sentence, of course, and 2 reasons why, okay? Make sure you're checking over the argumentative claim rubric because we want to, again, go up to 6. Main thing here, why are these claims important? Why is it significant that the Armenian people were being deported? Why is it significant to know about this genocide? Why is it specific? Why did you choose the subclaims that you did? So that is the overview for checkpoint 2. This should be done by Friday. Don't forget to do your word journal as well and have those submitted for feedback. Any questions, of course, please contact me. I probably won't be responding outside of school hours so much, but again, you can email me anytime. Also, office hours will be on Tuesday from noon to 2 p.m. Please make sure that you send me an email telling me that you're coming so I can get you the code if you need any additional help on this. All right. There you go. Godspeed. Do well. Keep washing your hands.